The Bay Area and coal country, they seem worlds apart, but we discovered our bay plays a critical role in the export of coal to Asia. And tonight, some people living in Richmond tell us they're paying the price.
The insides of their classrooms are covered in coal dust.
Yeah, KPIX 5 has been covering the big fight over big coal in Contra Costa County for years now. And tonight, Andria Borba is live along the bay with more on the new battle in this original report. Andria?
Well, Ken, unbeknownst to most, the San Francisco Bay is home to one of only 2 deep sea ports on the West Coast that export coal to Asia. It has become the latest flashpoint in the fight against climate change. Week after week, trains carrying coal from Utah unload their cargo at the 11 Richmond Marine Terminal in Richmond. Trucks full of petroleum coke and oil industry byproduct also drive in from the nearby Phillips 66 refinery. From here, the coal and petcoke are transferred onto ships headed for Asia, where they are burned as fuels. It's a thriving business that Richmond residents say is happening at the expense of their health.
Obviously, I don't like it.
No. Dahlia and her mom, Lauren Schiffman, were among the thousands of Richmond residents that fought to stop coal shipments through their town.
These train cars travel through residential neighborhoods in Richmond.
I get that that is very bad for the environment, and not just like the whole pollution of the town thing, but like it's basically the pollution of the world.
The pushback from residents resulted in a new city ordinance that phases out the storage and handling of coal and petcoke over 3 years. KPIX 5 has learned that the Levin terminal, along with the Utah Coal Company that exports the coal and Phillips 66, which exports the petcoke, have all gone to court looking to overturn the ordinance. They claim, among other things, that it violates their constitutional right to free commerce.
The fossil fuel industry decided they didn't like that ban and challenged it in court. So now all of us are in court defending that ban.
Sajal Choksi-Chu is the executive director of San Francisco Baykeeper that, along with the Sierra Club, is supporting the city of Richmond in its legal battle. The Baykeeper's patrol boat has been monitoring the Levin terminal from the water for years to make sure the coal dust isn't polluting the bay.
The coal industry is trying to get more than 11 million tons of coal out of Bay Area ports. And what they're trying to do is basically make the Bay Area coal country.
Data from the U.S. Census Bureau, which tracks trade, shows that coal exports through the Levin Richmond terminal skyrocketed from 120,000 metric tons in 2016 to 738,000 in 2019, a 615% increase. From the air, you can see why Richmond residents are at risk. Train tracks run right next to neighborhoods that have been designated by the Environmental Protection Agency as disadvantaged because of the many sources of air pollution they are exposed to. That includes 2 freeways and the Chevron oil refinery.
This is an absolutely huge deal.
Amanda Milstein is a pediatrician in Richmond that also pushed for the coal ban and is now speaking out to defend it.
We know that the particulate matter that is released into the air from coal dust, from petroleum coke dust, is toxic and is making people sick.
Many of her young patients attend school just half a mile away from the terminal.
The insides of their classrooms are covered in coal dust. By the end of the day, the cars are covered in coal dust. I mean, if that's what's inside their classrooms and on their cars, it's in their lungs. It's just the reality of it.
A spokesperson for the Levin Richmond terminal told us they cannot comment because of the lawsuit.
What are you doing?
Our cameras were not welcome outside the facility in Richmond.
Who are you?
But Richmond Mayor Tom Butt had plenty to say.
It's costing the city a lot of money.
He says the Sierra Club drafted the coal ordinance, but now won't cover the city's cost of defending it.
Sierra Club is not poor. They're $1 million a year organization. And, but, you know, once the ordinance was passed, they basically cut the city loose and said, you're on your own.
He says he was ready to settle with Levin before the ordinance passed, and is ready again.
If Levin was willing to agree to cease this operation, say in 7 years, you know, it might take 7 years to work through this lawsuit.
Back in Richmond, Lauren Schiffman and her daughter Dahlia hope the owners of the Levin Terminal and Utah Coal Company will just back off and leave the ordinance standing.
I think it's obvious the writing is on the wall that we need to make these changes to make California livable for our kids.
I'm like a 13-year-old girl. Please, please, please think about our generation's future and how every little action that you're doing is affecting us.
Now, the Sierra Club flatly denies that it ever promised to pay the city's legal fees. Phillips 66 says because of the pending litigation, they cannot comment at this point. And Wolverine Fuels, that Utah coal company, never got back to us, Ken.
Yeah, we're talking about the deep water terminal in Richmond, Andrea, but didn't Oakland just go through a similar situation not long ago?
Ken, that is correct. The city of Oakland passed an ordinance to stop a new coal terminal from being built at its port. That has now been taken to litigation as well, and the people behind the coal terminal and their project managers and backers have now just won an appeal this summer.
So the fight goes on. All right, Andria Borba reporting live. Thank you, Andria.